What are they made of? I had met more humans than most of our kind. Being part of the consulate on a human colony has certain perks in this regard. I was only an attendant for Princess Ixin, not a diplomat, but I had found the humans possessed many admirable qualities, especially curiosity and daring. But they are short and slim, and I thought little of their ability to fight us. Which was fine, as they were more interested in trade. And other things. The questions their members asked about our royalty during the king's funeral were that sort of well-meaning rudeness that I have found so often happens in interspecies dialogue. Yes, we have a king, yes, the new one will be decided by combat between champions of the royal family. No, the king has no formal authority. No, that does not mean they are purely ceremonial. They are still an important symbol among our people, they are still a spiritual leader, and they have a lifetime appointment, so their counsel is often sought by politicians. One, who I had found had become closer than appropriate to Princess Ixin while she had been posted on his world, asked, "Does it have to be your kind as champion?" The princess had been shunted off our homeworld as soon as she finished her studies. Her father had already decided her older brother Prince Magi should be his successor and had insisted the prince serve in the military to give him plenty of connections. All of the other children were sent away. Especially to worlds with inhabitants we thought little of militarily. Could this human be her champion? Yes, I answered. But one strike from the prince's champion would likely kill a human, so he should reconsider. But they are a daring species, these humans. The prince was aware of the stories about the humans. One does not send millions of their own soldiers to a war they have nothing to do with, and demand nothing for it, without gaining a reputation. How much Prince Magi thought the human champion was an actual threat, I could not say. But he did not want the challenge to go through. It took our prime minister all but threatening to abolish the monarchy to get the prince to agree. It was unseemly, understand, to be seen as refusing a challenge. I watched the warm-up matches with Princess Ixin from her box. Two professional fighters made their tributes and had a fierce and bloody match that managed to go 17 seconds before one was incapacitated. I asked the princess if she knew what her champion's strategy was. She smiled and asked how much I knew of the human's history and culture. I confessed my ignorance, as she was much more interested in these matters than I. They are persistence hunters, she explained. They evolved to chase animals for miles and miles over hours and hours until the animal simply died of exhaustion. We, however, evolved from ambush predators that relied on camouflage and traps before using overwhelming power to kill our prey. The human strategy, she explained, is almost always endure, endure, endure. A human quarter had been established in the capital as a trickle of merchants built businesses to buy our goods and sell their wares. As far as I could tell, they were all in attendance. We are not much for drawing attention to ourselves before a fight. The notion of entrance music was a surprise to us, but the humans knew what to expect. An ancient hymn from their world, a song of love and loss and a call for the endurance to stay the course from distraction. I learned the poets who created it were called Nickelback. We watched as the human champion danced his way into the ring while the human spectators sang with the song. The champion climbed onto the wall dividing the ring and pumped his fist while he sang, and the humans touched him, desperate to give him their sacred manna. The fight lasted an unbelievable amount of time at nearly 12 minutes. The human darted around the ring in the first seconds, in desperation to avoid being hit, but then he did something I did not expect. He smiled. Princess Ixin took the time of the match to expand upon the human strategy of endure. The human team sports all last more than an hour, a time so long I found it difficult to believe. What I found impossible to believe is that the pinnacle of human sporting is the marathon race, which she told me was 42 kilometers, and that even elite humans take almost 2 hours to accomplish this. What I found impossible is that this is done to commemorate a human who ran 490 kilometers over a day and a half. Humans who wish to protest some injustice often do so through feats of endurance. Standing for hours or days outside their government buildings or the homes of the people they think have done wrong are the most basic. They refuse to eat until their demands are heard. They take great walks from their homes to the seats of their government and refuse to leave. They prop themselves up on flagpoles for a year. At least one of their tribes, before the human unification, became independent partly through group acts of endurance. Human history is full of people who accomplished great things almost entirely by refusing to give up, often through injury and unbelievable odds. The first humans to fly only did so after countless hours of trial and error. A human too small to play a sport called gridiron competed essentially by refusing to stop trying. Human artists who failed time and again before accomplishing great things are too numerous to count and impossible to choose just one. These people are treated as saints or gods. Human philosophies about life are full of affirmations that what matters is how hardship is endured. Put in the work. Show up. No pain, no gain. Don't back down. Don't quit. Don't give up. They are so different from us. I thought to myself, what are they made of? This champion, sure to be a living saint, spent almost 12 minutes fighting a man half again his height and more than 3 times his weight. And he did not just try to not be struck. He pushed the other fighter. When the prince's champion tried to retreat and breathe, the human chased him. Taunted him. Insulted him. Pointed to places on his face he wished the other fighter to try to hit him. The prince's champion had no time to breathe, no room to run, no option but attack. And each attack exhausted him. The princess will be a fine king. Hopefully, her counsel will mean closer relations with a race so ingrained in a philosophy of glory from surmounting difficulty.